everyone. It's wonderful to see you here. Thank you all for joining us. And welcome to the 2023 ARPA-E Energy Innovation Summit. I'm Evelyn Wang, and as ARPA-E Director, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 13th Summit. And for the first time since 2018, we're back to where it all started in National Harbor. This is my first time on the summit stage, but it's not my first summit. I've attended several past summits as a four-time ARPA-E performer. My first project was part of the HEATS program, because you know we love our acronyms here at ARPA-E. I can still remember how excited I was that a government agency was willing to support my idea for a new type of thermal battery that would provide heating and cooling to the cabin and extend the driving range of electric vehicles. I knew that to push past the limits of existing technologies, I would need to partner with experts in material science, chemistry, engineering, and get industry buy-in. On a trip to California to see my parents, I cold called and met my eventual collaborator at UCLA. After that, I relentlessly reached out to automotive companies who were skeptical of my concept. Eventually, I got Ford to join our project team. With ARPA-E support, I gathered a team with diverse skill sets and strong collaboration that led to a working prototype and follow-on funding from Ford. And that's what ARPA-E is here for. And I know that for me, being able to work on a project like that was a pivotal moment in my career. It inspired me to think big and boldly about what is needed to create impactful, transformative energy solutions, just like so many of you do too. And that's why I'm so excited to be here today to lead this agency and to be in the position to work with and support this amazing community. I look forward to meeting many of you in the next 3 days. But first, let's look at why what we do is so important. We don't have to look further than the climate events the world has seen this past year. In September, the hurricanes from Hurricanes Fiona and Ian hit Puerto Rico. And these storms combined killed nearly 180 people. And Hurricane Fiona ravaged Puerto Rico that was still trying to recover from the damage from previous storms. In December, the blizzards in Buffalo, New York killed nearly 50 people and caused pain and hardship throughout the community. Across the country, the atmospheric rivers in California led to deaths, weeks of flooding, power outages, and evacuations throughout the state. And of course, the combined economic impact of these events is astounding. According to NOAA, just last year, these weather and climate events were billion-dollar disasters. We all recognize the urgency of this moment. And I know you're here because you want to focus on solutions. We already know what the world is capable of when there's a unified focus to tackle real-world challenges quickly. Look no further than the scientific community's response to another global disaster, the COVID-19 pandemic. Scientists, engineers, researchers, healthcare providers worked quickly to develop, scale, and deploy critical healthcare technologies. And that was done at the height of the pandemic when our lives were much more siloed. Today, thanks to the ingenuity and hard work of so many different people in so many different fields, we can again connect and collaborate alongside one another to develop the energy solutions that we need right now. We, as an energy community, need to act with the same urgency and collaborative approach to combat the global energy and climate crisis, just like the medical community did with the global health crisis. Together, we can develop real clean energy solutions that are scalable, deployable, and economically realistic. Now, we have an opportunity here. As I look out into the crowd and I see creative and passionate researchers, company founders, investors, government leaders, stakeholders, all of whom are here to transform tomorrow. And I say to each of you, there is someone in this room that wants to help solve a problem that you face. You just have to connect with them. You could have a conversation in the next few days that could lead to funding, a partnership, or even just a spark of ingenuity that could change your reality. And that's exactly what Alexa Schmitz, co-founder of Regen, experienced at last year's summit. Regen is inventing a new way to recover rare earth elements. According to USGS, the US is more import reliant than ever. Last year, these imports made up more than 1/2 of the US apparent consumption of non-fuel minerals. And the US was 100% net import reliant on 15 of them. Regen is reimagining the process for rare earth elements. And with Alexa and co-founder Sean Meddon's tech, they are recovering these rare earth elements using engineered microbes. Regen uses a two-step process. The first step involves an engineered microbe that recovers the ore. And in the second step, Regen now takes another engineered microbe that selectively absorbs specific rare earth elements. This technology replaces one of the most harmful production steps with clean microbial processes. Regen was in its infancy in its last summit. Alexa was still a postdoctoral associate at Cornell, working on these engineered microbes funded under an ARPA-E exploratory topic in biomining. When Alexa joined the summit last year, she was uncertain as to how she'd go about commercializing her work. And while there, she took the time to attend a mining seminar, connect with tech-to-market advisors, and find anyone on the tech showcase floor that had anything to do with rare earth elements so that she could understand the market. Alexa said that her time and the interactions at last year's summit, it was what gave her the inspirational push that she needed to really get going. In the last couple of months, Regen just purchased their first bioreactor and hired more staff. And I look forward to seeing what the company does next. let me tell you about another ARPA-E performer, Brimstone Energy. Brimstone presented their environmentally friendly, commercially scalable process to make cement at COP27 in Egypt last year. Cement production is responsible for about 8% of global CO2 emissions. Instead of using carbon-heavy limestone, Brimstone invented a process to make cement out of carbon-free calcium silicate rock. And meanwhile, in this process, CO2 is removed from air, leading to carbon-negative cement. The co-founders, Cody Fink and Hugo Leandri, overlapped as graduate students at Caltech. Cody was a trained chemist, and Hugo was a mechanical engineer, both working on wastewater technology. But they only became close after both attending a toilet conference in Beijing. And during that time, that 1 week they spent together, they realized that wastewater technology wouldn't pan out because it would be too expensive to scale. At around the same time, Cody also attended a talk about heavy emitting industries, steel, cement, fertilizer. And Cody got inspired by tackling the fertilizer challenge because the core of the issue was something he was familiar with: hydrogen generation. After some time, and discussing with Hugo, who worked at his father's concrete business as a kid, they realized that the technology for fertilizer would also work for cement, and that cement was a much bigger target. Fast forward, they applied for and received ARPA-E funding through the SEED program, a fund that supports disruptive energy technology concepts within small businesses. And with that SEED funding, they were able to do more work and get more data to prove the feasibility of their negative carbon cement technology. This last year, Brimstone raised $55 million from Breakthrough and DCVC and plans to have a pilot plant operational next year. This is what can happen when you bring together people with diverse skill sets, collaborate, persevere through pivots, and continue to work towards a common goal. Let me close with a story about Ampere. Ampere is commercializing hybrid electric aircraft. Last year, oil emissions grew, and 50% of the increase was due to aviation, as air travel continues to rebound from pandemic lows. Electrified aircraft could save more than 50% on fuels and emissions and 25% on operational costs this decade. Ampere is working towards these goals by being able to create a new paradigm with hybrid electric aircraft. Years ago, a tech to market advisor from ARPA-E and a program director from ARPA-E attended a conference in Southern California. And at that conference, they met a young man named Corey Combs from Ampere. When Corey mentioned that he was distributing power at 900 volts within his hybrid electric aircraft, that immediately caught the attention of the ARPA-E team. This voltage was nearly twice the voltage of that used in a typical electric vehicle. Clearly, he was doing something different. He was using advanced semiconductor devices and power electronics to fly his hybrid electric aircraft. After a visit to the hangar in Hawthorne, California, and meeting co-founder Kevin Nurker, ARPA-E started funding Ampere's work with a Cessna testbed for power electronics under the Circuits program. This testbed was also used for motors, cables, batteries, and fuel cells for future hybrid electric and electrified aircraft programs. And now, with ARPA-E scale-up efforts, they're using that same test bed to now mature and validate components that can be commercially certified and integrated to an even larger aircraft, the 9-seater Eco Caravan. Ampere has achieved an impressive list of industry firsts. The development and testing program has tests that are consistent with FAA certification requirements. The company has the largest, most powerful hybrid electric aircraft flown to date. And Ampere has clocked the longest flight leg ever in hybrid electric aircraft at 1,135 miles. That serendipitous meeting years ago is what led to Ampere's ambitious work. And I look forward to seeing what technologies take flight to commercial certification and ultimately realizing the full potential of hybrid electric aircraft. These are just a few examples of collaboration, persistence, and chance that lead to exciting, innovative, new energy technologies. And now, I hope all of you take the time during this summit to make meaningful connections, explore new opportunities, and interact with the technologies at the showcase floor. Together, as one team and one community, I know that we can tackle today's energy challenges with agility, speed, and audacity, where imagined ideas turn into scalable, deployable realities. And we at ARPA-E are here to support you and your journeys so that your technological breakthroughs transform our energy future. Thank you.